Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be exploring a connection that's often misunderstood but incredibly important for your health, the link between diabetes and stroke. We're doing this deep dive because whether you have diabetes yourself or maybe have loved ones who do, understanding this link could be crucial for your and their well-being.
Yeah, it's a connection that really deserves more attention, I think, than it often gets.
Right. And get this, one of the sources we dug into revealed that adults with diabetes are 1.5 times more likely to have a stroke compared to those without. So that means your risk of experiencing a stroke is significantly higher just because you have diabetes. And that's something we need to address.
Absolutely. And the connection doesn't stop there either. Emerging research is even suggesting that diabetes might also influence stroke severity and even play a role in the development of Alzheimer's disease.
Wow, that's a lot to consider. So today, we're going to unpack how diabetes increases stroke risk. We'll look at the specific warning signs that you should watch out for, and most importantly, equip you with practical tips to take control of your health. And to help us navigate the science behind all of this, we have an expert in the field joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Visions Beyond. Now, before we get into the specifics of the diabetes-stroke connection, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. Can you give us a concise explanation of what a stroke is and why it's so critical to act quickly?
Of course. In essence, a stroke happens when the blood supply to a part of your brain is suddenly interrupted or severely reduced. This lack of blood flow deprives brain cells of oxygen and nutrients. And if not addressed promptly, those cells begin to die, often within minutes. It's like a traffic jam in the intricate network of blood vessels in your brain, leading to a shortage of essential supplies in the affected area.
So it's not just about the blockage itself, it's the domino effect it has on brain cells.
Precisely. That's why recognizing the signs and seeking immediate medical attention is absolutely critical.
I've always wondered what makes the different types of stroke unique.
Well, the most common type, an ischemic stroke, is caused by a blockage in a blood vessel, often due to a blood clot. Then there's a hemorrhagic stroke, which is caused by a weakened blood vessel rupturing and bleeding into the brain. And lastly, there's what's called a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, often referred to as a mini stroke. It's a temporary disruption of blood flow, a bit like a warning sign that a larger stroke could be on the horizon. But regardless of the type the outcome is, the same brain cells are at risk due to a disruption in blood flow.
So recognizing those signs early is key no matter what type of stroke it might be.
Absolutely.
Now that we've laid the groundwork, let's uncover why diabetes increases stroke risk. It all boils down to how diabetes affects your blood vessels and how your body handles glucose, right?
That's right. One of the main culprits is chronically elevated blood sugar, a hallmark of diabetes. Think of your arteries as pipes supplying your house with water. High blood sugar can roughen those smooth pipes, making them prone to accumulating plaque buildup like gunk clogging up the system. This narrowing of the blood vessels makes it harder for blood to flow freely, increasing the risk of blockages, which can lead to an ischemic stroke.
I like that analogy. It really drives home how vulnerable blood vessels become with diabetes.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, diabetes often goes hand in hand with high blood pressure, putting even more stress on those already compromised blood vessels.
So it's like a double whammy for the vascular system. But I know there's more to it than just that. Doesn't diabetes also make your blood more prone to clotting?
Yes, it does. Diabetes thickens the blood and increases inflammation, creating a perfect storm for clot formation, further increasing the risk of ischemic strokes.
That makes sense. So we have high blood sugar damaging blood vessels, high blood pressure adding to the stress, and blood clots forming more easily. It paints a pretty concerning picture.
It does. And then there's the impact of diabetes on the tiny blood vessels in your brain, leading to what are called lacunar strokes. These are small strokes that often go unnoticed but can cause significant damage over time. Imagine them as silent saboteurs slowly compromising brain function.
Wow, silent saboteurs. That's a chilling thought. Knowing all this might feel daunting, but let's shift gears to something more empowering. Recognizing the warning signs. What should people be looking out for?
The faster someone receives medical attention, the better their chances of minimizing brain damage. Remember the acronym FAST. F for face drooping, A for arm weakness, S for speech difficulty, and T for time to call 911.
Right, so if one side of the face droops, one arm is weak or numb, or there's any slurred speech or difficulty understanding, those are all major red flags.
Exactly. But there are other signs to be aware of as well, like sudden confusion, a severe headache that comes on suddenly, problems with vision, dizziness, and difficulty walking. Even if you're unsure, it's always better to err on the side of caution and call for help immediately. Every minute counts.
That's a good reminder. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to stroke. Now, before we delve into the risk factors unique to people with diabetes, let's take a quick pause to remind everyone to like, share, and subscribe to Visions Beyond. Your support means the world to us.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
We've uncovered a lot about the connection between diabetes and stroke, and it might feel a bit heavy, but here's the good news. There's a lot you can do to take control and lower your risk.
That's right. We can't eliminate risk entirely, but we can definitely tilt the scales in our favor.
So let's talk about prevention. What are the most powerful steps people can take to protect themselves?
Well, for anyone with diabetes, effective blood sugar management is paramount. That means consistently keeping your blood glucose levels within the target ranges set by your doctor. Think of it like staying within the lines while coloring. You're aiming for that sweet spot where your blood sugar is well controlled.
And that's where A1C comes in, right? It's like a report card for your blood sugar over the past few months, showing how well you're managing things.
Precisely keeping your A1C below 7% is a good goal for many people with diabetes. This deep dive really highlighted how essential that is for protecting your blood vessels and reducing stroke risk.
So blood sugar management is priority number one. What else can people do?
Blood pressure control is another crucial piece of the puzzle for individuals with diabetes. The ideal blood pressure target is typically below 130/80 mmHg.
So how can people achieve that? I know medication might be necessary for some, but what about lifestyle changes?
Lifestyle changes are incredibly powerful. Imagine them as your secret weapons in the fight against stroke. A heart-healthy diet that's low in sodium, regular exercise, and managing stress can all contribute to lowering blood pressure.
You know, for me, exercise used to feel like such a chore, but then I discovered dancing and it completely changed my perspective. Now it's something I actually look forward to, and it's amazing for my overall health.
That's fantastic. It's all about finding what works for you and makes you feel good. And then there's cholesterol management. High levels of LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, can increase your risk, while high levels of HDL cholesterol, the good kind, can actually protect you.
So it's like a balancing act, right?
Exactly. Lifestyle modifications like a healthy diet and regular physical activity can go a long way in improving your cholesterol profile. And in some cases, medication like statins might be necessary to get those numbers where they need to be. Your doctor can help you determine the best course of action based on your individual situation.
Got it. So we've got blood sugar control, blood pressure management, and cholesterol management. What else should be on our prevention checklist?
This one's a no-brainer, but it's worth emphasizing. Quitting smoking if you smoke and have diabetes. Quitting is one of the most significant gifts you can give yourself. It's like removing a major roadblock on the path to better health.
It's not easy, but it's incredibly important. Smoking wreaks havoc on blood vessels, increases blood pressure, and makes your blood more likely to clot. It's like a triple threat to your vascular health.
Exactly. Now let's talk about exercise. It's not just about losing weight or looking good. It's about improving circulation, lowering blood pressure, and boosting your overall cardiovascular health.
So how much exercise are we talking about? What's a good target?
Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. And remember, it doesn't have to be all at once. Even short bursts of activity throughout the day can make a difference.
That's encouraging. It's about finding ways to weave movement into your daily life. Now, let's talk about food. What kind of eating plan is best for someone with diabetes who wants to reduce their stroke risk?
A heart-healthy, diabetes-friendly diet is key. Think Mediterranean style, eating lots of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. It's a delicious and sustainable way to nourish your body and protect your heart.
So it's not about deprivation, it's about making choices that support your health and well-being.
Exactly. It's about long-term sustainable changes, not quick fixes. Now, you mentioned aspirin earlier.
Yes. I've heard that a low-dose aspirin can help prevent stroke, especially for people with diabetes.
That's true. Low-dose aspirin is sometimes recommended for individuals with diabetes who have an increased risk of stroke, but it's not a decision to make lightly. There are potential risks and benefits to consider. So always talk to your doctor to see if it's appropriate for you.
That's a good reminder that Medications, even over-the-counter ones, should always be discussed with your healthcare provider.
Absolutely. And while we're on that topic, let's emphasize the importance of regular checkups with your doctor. Frequent monitoring of your blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, and weight is crucial for catching potential problems early on.
It's about being proactive and having a good relationship with your healthcare team.
Exactly. They're your allies in this journey. Now, let's shift gears a bit. What about those who have already experienced a stroke? What does recovery and rehabilitation look like for them?
That's a great question, and I want to acknowledge the strength and resilience of anyone who's gone through a stroke. It's a life-changing event, and recovery can be a long and challenging process, but it's important to remember that there is hope and there are things you can do to regain lost function and improve your quality of life, what's typically involved in the recovery process.
Rehabilitation is a cornerstone of stroke recovery. It's about retraining your brain and body to adapt to the changes brought on by the stroke. Physical therapy can help you regain strength, coordination, and mobility. Occupational therapy focuses on relearning everyday tasks like dressing, bathing, and cooking, and speech therapy can help with regaining speech and language skills.
So it's a multidisciplinary approach tailored to each individual's specific needs.
Precisely, recovery takes time and patience, but consistent effort and a positive attitude can make a world of difference. Remember, there will be good days and bad days, but the key is to keep moving forward.
Speaking of moving forward, I imagine blood sugar management becomes even more crucial during the recovery process.
Absolutely, high blood sugar during recovery can actually delay healing and make things more difficult. So if you've had a stroke and have diabetes, working closely with your healthcare team to manage your blood sugar is paramount. You might need adjustments to your medication or insulin regimen to optimize your recovery.
So it's about fine-tuning your diabetes management plan to support the healing process.
Exactly. And we can't forget the emotional aspect of stroke recovery. Many survivors experience anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. Seeking counseling or joining a support group can be incredibly beneficial for navigating these challenges.
That's such an important reminder. Recovery isn't just about physical healing. It's about emotional well-being as well. It's about addressing the whole person.
Precisely, it's about offering support and encouragement on all levels.
We've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive, but there's always more to learn, and we encourage you to continue exploring this important topic. Now let's move on to our final thoughts and leave our listeners with some key takeaways. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Glad to be here.
We've explored the link between diabetes and stroke, the warning signs, and ways to manage risk. But before we wrap up, I'm curious to hear your final takeaway for our listeners. What's that one message you want them to walk away with today?
I think the most important thing to remember is that while diabetes does increase your risk of stroke significantly, it doesn't have to be a foregone conclusion. You have the power to take control of your health. By understanding the connection, being proactive, and working closely with your healthcare providers, you can take meaningful steps to protect yourself. Knowledge is power, and when it comes to stroke prevention, that knowledge can be truly life-saving.
I love that. That's such an empowering message. It's about realizing that you're not just a passenger in this journey, you're the driver.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to ask questions, advocate for your needs, and seek support when you need it. Your health is worth it.
Absolutely. And remember, if you or someone you're with experiences any stroke symptoms, don't hesitate. Call 911. Time is of the essence that quick action can make all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. Every minute counts.
As we reach the end of our deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder. Given everything we've learned today, what's one change you can make to protect yourself or someone you love from stroke? It could be something small, like incorporating a 15-minute walk into your day, or something bigger, like making a commitment to quit smoking. Whatever it is, commit to making that change today. Your brain and your loved ones will thank you for it.
That's a great question to reflect on. Small changes over time can have a huge impact.
And of course, if you're looking for more deep dives into fascinating topics, be sure to subscribe to Visions Beyond for a steady stream of insightful content. We're here to help you navigate the world of health and knowledge, one episode at a time.
It's been a pleasure diving deep with you and our listeners today.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Visions Beyond. Until next time.